Good morning. My name is Tony Valenti, and I'm recording this video specifically for Josh, Brendan, and Eric over at Clio. This video is to demonstrate the AlphaDrive document importer that I've been working on. I've been making some significant adjustments to it in terms of usability and intelligence, and I wanted to give you an early preview at what I'm working on. I'd love to get your thoughts. By all means, this is a work in progress, so if there's something that you think it could use, let me know because I can build it. All right, so when importing documents into Clio, I think the biggest challenge that law firms have is that the folder structures that they've been using up until now have generally been inconsistently named. So sometimes it's like first name, last name, first name. Sometimes they put the matter name in the folder. Sometimes they put the matter as a subfolder. There's just a lot of different elements that go into how people choose to name their folders that they're working with. So for example, in this case, you'll see I've created a small sample, and I have Bob Smith. This is just a client's name with some files under it. We have a client with the matter name in it. We have a client that has just some folders under it with a PDF subfolder. We also have Smith. He's got a matter directly under it. Smith, he's got a criminal with some files under it. And then last we have Smith, comma Bob with some contracts and a will that is being worked on. So this is the source side of things, and the source is probably going to be coming from like a local file share, a Google Drive location, or a OneDrive or a Box account that has not really been linked to Clio. It's just been where people have just been throwing stuff. Now, as you're aware, once you link one to Clio, Clio creates a very nicely organized folder structure. That would be what I would call the destination. That we are importing files into. So the destination could be one of a Google Drive link, it could be a OneDrive link, it could be Clio documents itself through AlphaDrive. Any of those different locations all work fine. And you'll see that when they're configured, the destination will look something like this. We would have a client by either first name, last name, or perhaps last name, first name. And inside of them, they have their different matters. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the document importer now. So the first step in the document importer, you have to give it 3 different file locations. The first is the source, and the source is kind of the main folder that we're going to be importing things from. This would have the subfolders in it that have client data in it. Second is the destination root, and this would be our AlphaDrive location or our Box location that's linked to Clio, so that we are importing things into a very nicely organized client matter hierarchy. The last is the archive root, and what the archive root is for, it's in case we need to run the migrator multiple times. Once a file has been migrated, it's moved out of the source root into the archive root. That way we still have the files maintained on our system. They haven't been removed. We can do that at some point down in the future, but we have some sense of progress and what needs still to be moved and what hasn't been moved. So I've already gone ahead and filled those in. I'm going to go ahead and click next. The next thing that I need to do is tell the system about the level of which files can be imported at. So when you're importing into a destination, generally it's probably going to be the 3rd level of files here, because Clio, you have your root, and then you usually have your client name, and then you usually have your matters under it. So I wanted to make this configurable so you can choose it however you want, but we're going to go ahead and leave it at the matter level. Then additionally, if we want to handle merge conflicts, we can keep both files, replace items. I can probably add a few more options in there. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. But I'm going to go ahead and leave these things as is for now. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now also, as I've worked with firms, something that I've learned is that the firms tend to have different abbreviations that they use when naming things. I've gone ahead and pre-programmed a few of these abbreviations in here. By giving the AI engine these abbreviations, we actually allow it to be a lot smarter in terms of the matches that it is creating for us. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and leave these as is and go ahead and click next. All right, Alpha Drive has now analyzed our sources and our destinations, and it has created a plan for us that it thinks that we should execute. Now you'll see that the plan isn't perfect, but it makes it pretty easy for us to tweak it. So the first thing is we have this Bob Smith folder. So let's go ahead and take a look at our sources here. And you'll notice that with our Bob Smith folder, we just have some files directly on it. There's not really enough information to really figure out what matter that should go to. So the AI wasn't sure about where this folder should go. So I can actually click down here on the destination, and you'll see that the AI was smart enough to figure out that this probably goes to Bob Smith. But it didn't know whether these files should be imported into contracts, criminal, divorce, or wills. I'm going to go ahead and choose contracts. All right, now there's a little bit more magic that I'm going to go ahead and show you. You'll notice here the Bob Smith divorce. It was imported into Smith Bob divorce. Hackworth, there are no files associated with this, so we don't need to import that folder. This folder doesn't need to be imported for the same reason. Now here's something pretty cool that I wanted to demonstrate. Now you'll notice that this client's name is Hackworth, but we don't have a folder named Hackworth. We have a folder named James Hackwath, probably because somebody fat-fingered a name and just never really noticed or bothered to correct it. Well, the matching engine was smart enough to figure out that that's probably a typo, and it's actually linked the Hackworth folder to the James Hackwath folder. Using information such as PA and PDF, it said that it thinks that it probably needs to go to James Hackworth Paternity and PDFs. Now you might be wondering, why did it choose PDFs instead of PDF over here? Well, the reason it did is because we actually had an existing PDF folder in our destinations. Let me go ahead and pull that up. There we go. So it was making the assumption that we probably wanted to import into an existing location rather than create a new. Again, here we have no files need to be imported. We have the criminal matter is imported, the Smith criminal. Also, Smith crim is properly imported into the Smith criminal folder. And you'll notice that we have a contract 1, a contract 2, and a will folder on our source side, but on our destination side, we have a contracts, and wills folder. And the AI was able to properly make the mapping between that. All right, so this about sums up what I'm working on with the document importer. Of course, I can click next and have it start copying files, but there's not really anything too interesting about copying files and moving files from one location to another. The real magic behind what's happening with the document importer is the artificial intelligence, which is going into the matching engine and the AI engine to go ahead and do this fuzzy matching between the documents, the document locations. Again, this is an early work in progress. I'd love to get your feedback and learn more about what you'd like to see in it. If you have any ideas, please let me know, because if you can think of it, I can probably build it.